start?
I'm Susan Oyama, and I have been working for a long time on something that I call developmental systems. I'm here to help celebrate the life and work of Francisco Varela. And so for my talk, one of the things I did was to try to understand what kinds of similarities and differences there were between Francisco's work on autopoiesis and my own work on developmental systems. And one tool that I found useful was to make a distinction between the boundary around an entity, for example, a cell or an organism, and the boundary around the developmental complex that creates this organism. It's the latter system that interests me, and it's a much more indefinite system, a very fuzzy bounded system that I'm interested in that changes over time. I didn't try to solve the question of how similar or how different our approaches were in this way, but I did, I suppose, implicitly invite other people to think about this if they were interested. A developmental system then would include the organism, but it's much larger than the organism itself. It includes all the aspects of the environment, living environment, inanimate environment, the geology, the weather, all those aspects of the environment that are developmentally relevant. So the environment is indexed to the organism. Such a developmental system then is very extended. It changes all the time. It's different for different organisms. But this is not an unmanageable complexity because there's always a question that the observer brings. That is, a researcher has a research question, has a particular part of the system in mind, and so there will always be a way of pragmatically drawing a line around the system to be studied. I think a fair number of people have found this conceptually helpful in a variety of ways. I suspect that the big challenge for the future will be to find a way of modeling these kinds of processes. I think probably the modeling of development has often been somewhat internalist, if I may use that term. And what I would like personally to see is modeling that explicitly includes not just as material or input or perturbation, but includes the environmental factors as part of the developmental process. This, I think, is the next step that needs to be taken, and it's something that I hope will be worked on in the various laboratories where modeling is being done.